Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we living. I'm a little later today with my NFL Mount Rushmore. Just got home. We're going to continue our series going in alphabetical order. Yesterday was the Chicago Bears. Today is the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe this is the 7th of 32 teams, doing them in alphabetical order. In these, I attempt to name the 4 best players in franchise history as a subjective list. Let me know in the comments who you would include once the video is over. This was honestly the toughest one I've done so far. I probably changed my Mount Rushmore 5 or 6 times. There was 2 I kept on the entire time, but the final 2 was kind of a battle between 5 guys, and none of them are really wrong answers. So again, let me know who you would include. I'm happy to hear. I'd love to hear what you guys would consider. In these, I do only look at how they perform for said team. So of course, these 4 guys are only with the Bengals. Bengals have been a franchise since 1968, have never won a Super Bowl. Last week, a week ago today, was their 3rd appearance in the Super Bowl, but they are now 0-3. But that's not to say that they don't have well-deserving players on this Mount Rushmore. Let's get into it. At the end, I'll be naming a bunch of honorable mentions. As I said, this was challenging. We're going to start with a quarterback, Ken Anderson. Ken Anderson was drafted 67th overall in the 3rd round by the Bengals in the 1971 NFL Draft. Spent his entire career with Cincinnati, 16 seasons until 1986. He went 91-81 as a starter. His best season was easily 1981 when he was named MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Comeback Player of the Year. That season, he led the league, averaging 8.1 yards an attempt and 98.4 rating. Just an outstanding year. That was one of 4 seasons in which Anderson led the league in quarterback rating. Also led twice in passing yards, 3 times in completion percentage in his career. Led the Bengals to the Super Bowl in the 1981 season, the year he did win MVP. Unfortunately, they fell to the 49ers. But all in all, my opinion, the best quarterback in franchise history. Maybe Joe Burrow will have something to say about that in the future. But right now, it goes to Ken Anderson. In his career, 32,838 passing yards, 197 passing touchdowns. Ken Anderson, a lot of people believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's not yet. Will he be eventually? Stay tuned. Next, we got wide receiver Chad Johnson. I had him on, I had him off, I had him on, finished with him on. Chad Johnson was drafted 36th overall in the 2nd round by the Bengals in 2001. Spent 10 seasons with the Bengals from 2001 to 10, being named the 6 Pro Bowls, including 5 straight from 2003 to 7. Was a first-team All-Pro in 2005 and 2006. The latter of those seasons leading the league with 1,369 receiving yards. Had 7 1,000-yard seasons, including 6 straight from 2002 to 2007. For his Bengals tenure, 10 seasons, 751 catches, 10,783 yards, and 66 touchdowns. Chad Johnson, definitely the best wide receiver in franchise history and the 2nd member of the Bengals Mount Rushmore. Third, and if Mount Rushmore only consisted of one guy, this would definitely be the player to make it. Anthony Munoz, drafted 3rd overall by the Bengals in the 1980 NFL Draft. First ballot Hall of Famer in 1998 after his 13-season career with Cincinnati. Made 11 straight Pro Bowls from 1981 to 91. First team All-Pro 9 out of 10 years, 1981 to 83, and then 85 to 90. Just a absolute beast at left tackle. Whether it was Ken Anderson, whether it was Boomer Esiason, they did not have to worry about that side of the field that Munoz was blocking. Definitely made quarterbacks' jobs a lot easier. He was a member of the Hall of Fame All 1980s team. Started all 16 games in 8 of his 13 seasons. He even had 7 catches in his career for 4 touchdowns. Gil Brandt of NFL.com, I believe 2 years ago, did a list of his best offensive tackles in NFL history. He ranked Anthony Munoz third. Some may even have him third. He only had him behind Jonathan Ogden of the Ravens and Jim Parker, who played early on in the late 50s and early 60s with the Baltimore Colts. So Anthony Munoz, definitely the best player in franchise history. I'm not ranking them in these Mount Rushmores, but that's an obvious thing to say. Third member and the fourth, another guy I had on, I had off, decided to leave on. That is Ken Riley. Riley was drafted 135th overall in the 6th round of the 1969 NFL Draft and spent his whole 15-year career with the Bengals. Unfortunately passed away on June 7th, 2020 at the age of 72. Very lack of accolades. It makes no sense how Riley was never named a Pro Bowler and actually was never named a first team All Pro until the last season of his career. But he was twice a second team All Pro in 1975 and 1976. But did he intercept a lot of passes? Matter of fact, he intercepted 65 for his career. That places him 5th all-time, tied for 5th with Charles Woodson. Riley is not in the Hall of Fame, but all the guys ahead of him are Paul Krause, Emlyn Tunnell, Rod Woodson, and Night Train Lane. Charles Woodson also in the Hall of Fame. Ed Reed, 7th in the Hall of Fame. Ronnie Lott tied for 8th in the Hall of Fame. Ken Riley is not. He's had a lot of support from his fans and just has not happened yet. But what a career it was for Ken Riley. Again, I'm just amazed at the lack of accolades he received as a player. 65 interceptions, as I mentioned, had 9 in 1976, had 8 in his last season of 1983, had 7 seasons with at least 5 interceptions, returned 5 interceptions for touchdowns in his career. Ken Riley is the 4th and final member of the Bengals Mount Rushmore. So again, in alphabetical order by last name: Ken Anderson, Chad Johnson, Anthony Munoz, and Ken Riley. Again, this was probably the most difficult of the Mount Rushmores that I've done thus far. A couple guys I had on and eventually took off. Willie Anderson, who was a Hall of Fame finalist this past year. Kept trying to decide whether I wanted to leave him on, leave him off. Definitely very close to making it. Boomer Esiason, former MVP for the Bengals, while with the Bengals, led them to a Super Bowl appearance. And who was the third guy? Geno Atkins. Yes, Geno Atkins I had on at one point. All 3 of them are honorable mentions. But other guys also include Corey Dillon, Lamar Parrish, Chris Collinsworth, Andy Dalton, Reggie Williams, Andrew Whitworth, Max Montoya, Tim Crumry, AJ Green, Pete Johnson, David Fulcher, Carlos Dunlap, James Brooks, Carson Palmer, and some current guys who made the Super Bowl who have a chance in the future: Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, and Jesse Bates. So let me know in the comments who you would include in your Bengals Mount Rushmore. As I mentioned, this was the most challenging one I've done so far. Tomorrow, since we're going alphabetical order, I will be doing the Cleveland Browns. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.